The videos I publish to YouTube are recorded in a simulated live session so that when the recording is done, so is the video. Imagine being able to publish your video when you hit finish. No editing, no tweaks to sound, no adding in clips or graphics in post. So many video projects start with such good intentions and are pronounced dead in the edit process. I record or download B-roll, get my graphics and text, and I put them into scenes, which allows me to produce my video as if I was doing a PowerPoint presentation. And today we're going to take you through all those steps and those processes and those cheat codes so that we can actually show you how to do this for yourself. We're going to dive into it. We're going to go into all the different processes and procedures to be able to set up those scenes so that you can utilize the live to drive strategy to publish your videos as soon as you're done recording. Let's dive in. The first thing that you want to do, of course, is script up your intro and your outro. You still want to use good practices for video and for YouTube videos and for retention, right? It's that trifecta of the title of the video, the thumbnail of the video, and the first 30 seconds. That's where you hook them. And that's kind of what I just did a second ago. Hopefully it worked and you're still here in the video. In the platform that I use to script my videos is Camera Hub from Elgato. And so you actually can see the whole script for this video is here today. I have a previous script for a video that I did called StreamYard multi-aspect ratio streaming feature. This allows me to script it. I know where my next scene is going to be because I'm able to put that into the script and just hit the pedal that's on the floor. So Elgato is a critical component to me being able to utilize this live to drive strategy. So I definitely wanted to make sure that we talk about the scripting aspect of it. Making that intro and that outro, how you hook them in the beginning and where you want to send them in the end, super critical. So definitely wanted to make sure that we talk about that. The next thing to do is to create or acquire your assets. And so one of the places that I may go to for that is Pexels. Pexels has some B-roll that you can download, and I'll make sure to put this link in the description as well. There are many platforms. If you have a Canva Pro account, I highly recommend going through and downloading from there, but you can put in the name for whatever you want here. And we're going to build out a scene with video as a overlay so that I can talk through it as if you were looking at B-roll in a video. And so that is another thing that I definitely want to make sure that you are looking into. Lastly, you want to have some callouts. So if you have different things in your videos that you are looking to really highlight, you want to put some text on screen or something that calls people's attention to a particular thing, we definitely want to make sure we showcase that as well. We're going to look at several of those kinds of scenes, up to and including intro scene, outro scene, and of course, a screen share, which is what I have been showing you by going back and forth to this scene that I'm in right now. Showing things that are on your screen, moving the mouse around, having something dynamic that allows people to engage. It really does make a difference. And of course, if I swipe over, I can bring up something else. I can even bring up another platform, another streaming service, whatever I want to show. I have the ability to show that by simply going into the scene that has a screen share. Now I'm going to go into live demo mode here inside Ecamm, which enables me to showcase the whole screen. And we're going to build out some of these scenes together just in a moment. So here I've got a new scene. It has nothing on it. Let's say I want to show some B-roll, right? So we want to add in a video. So I have a video down here, and it is a MP4. I'm just going to drag it, drop it here on top. I'm going to make sure that it doesn't have audio and this one doesn't. And maybe this is something that I want to show while I am talking about video editing. So here we'll go and we'll say maybe loop. We have it set to autoplay, and we just need to let it take up the whole screen. And so now if I duplicate this scene, I'm just going to call this main again and get rid of this one. We can move from this scene into this scene, and you can still hear my voice even though you're not seeing me on screen, and it kind of makes it seem like we've just cut into some B-roll. So, and then it fades back into my scene again. So that is how I would recommend doing some B-roll, and you can do, B-roll in multiple different ways. Sometimes you might want it to be like this, where it's fully taking up the whole screen, or you might want to have where you add a camera. So if I add my camera here, so now you can actually see me in the video, and then it will bring me back to the regular screen when we go back to it. So that animation is also embedded in the program, which again allows for some dynamics as you're doing your thing. Another dynamic that I always like to do is making sure that we are able to have some pull-ins and pull-outs. Well, this is what my camera looks like on a normal basis. And if I am to put a new scene here, right? So you can still see me in the bottom down here. Don't worry. I haven't gone anywhere. I'm going to select at the top for this to be a camera scene. But in this scene, I'm going to grab my camera effects and simply zoom in and out. So click here, zoom and pan. I'm going to put this to 17. 17 is what I like to put it to. That number is really small. Thank God for the zoom in. And then I don't want to cut off my head, so I'm just going to pull that up and try to center myself. And I'll call this scene zoom in. Zoom in. And then my main scene is my normal. So you see, just by putting that scene there right after the other one, it gives me this zoom in effect. If I want to make a particular point, I want to do some of those call outs as I mentioned before, I can do that with a zoom in and a zoom out. Another thing to be mindful of is how to bring graphics on screen as well. So if I wanted to bring in a graphic, let's say I have something that I want to share. All right, so let's create a new scene here. I'm gonna duplicate the zoom in scene because I am going to use this. We're gonna call that graphic. All right, so a graphic scene. So I'm gonna go back to my camera effects and just kind of slide myself over to the right a little bit so that I have some space there. I'm gonna grab this graphic, put it onto the screen, and then just make it smaller, put it over to the side so that I can kind of talk about that graphic if I want to. I may need to zoom this in a little bit further so that I can actually have that graphic a little more prominently placed. Now you can see what that looks like. Now, of course, I mean, the graphic, we don't want to, let's just kind of crop in on that graphic a little bit so that we don't have so much white space. We want to talk about the graphic, not necessarily the white space. And maybe not that zoomed in. All right, but anyway, make that a little bit bigger now. Give it drop shadow, and then sometimes you can give it a border if you wanted to, but you can have that thing be dynamic, and you can actually even set this transition to fly in from the, not spin in, fly in from the top. So we'll set that to fly in from the top. Now, when I'm in my zoomed in screen, if I go down to the next screen, it zooms me out. If I want to make that point, now that graphic comes in. And so this, again, it's all the prep work and that you're doing to ensure that everything is where you want it to be. And if I hit again, of course, I go back to my B-roll. I mean, there's just so many different ways that you can utilize this, but I wanted to be able to definitely showcase this to you. Another scene that we can create real quick here is a screen share. And so what I like to do is, of course, grab a screen share. Grab a screen share from the overlays section. So you add a new screen share in. I have two displays, so I'm going to set this to my secondary display. I always like to crop in on that top piece so that I'm not showing the URL. Then I make this a little bit bigger, right? And in some cases, you may need to actually change your zoom on the screen that you're looking at. So let's say here, let's go into the studio inside of Restream, and I'm gonna just kind of make this a little bit bigger so that people can see. Last thing I want to do, of course, is add my camera in. Maybe just put it on here in the corner. I like to just kind of line that up a little bit, and now we're ready to go. So this is a screen share scene, and always like to name my scenes so that I'm not lost in the sauce, as they say. But here we have a scene where I'm showcasing myself. Maybe I'm making a particular point. Then we have another scene here, which goes back to the normal camera, the way that I have it in a normal format. We have a graphic here that comes in. We've got our screen share that comes out like that. And sometimes you might want to put a graphic behind the screen share scene. It's totally up to you. Sometimes it is good to minimize the amount of things that are happening on screen so that people's attention is not pulled away. Here on this one, the corners are around it. I'm just going to take that off because I want to have those actually be square. And then, yeah, we have this scene here, and I can go back to main, and we're good to go. The last thing that people often ask me is, how do you do the intro and the outro? How do you do the intro and the outro? Well, it's not too bad, not too hard a scene to build as well. So let's grab a scene here. I'm going to call this intro, and what we're going to do is make this a camera scene. So I'm going to put my camera on the screen here, and then I'm going to grab, if I can find it, I'm going to grab my intro video. Now, my intro video is something that I did have my video team create for me. And so let's see here. These don't look like the ones, but I'm going to try. This is not the one that I usually use, but anyway, we're going to try it. So I'm just going to drag this into the scene, pause it, maybe turn down the audio on that guy a little bit, and then just drag the opacity on the video down so that you can actually see me. And so whenever I go into that scene, right? So if I go back to here, go to this scene, you can actually see the intro video playing. And once that intro video is done, I can set it to go to the next scene, and it will bring me back to the next scene as if somebody was producing the show. In this particular instance, this video does not have that option. So let me just make sure I have this thing right. Let's go here. I'm going to make sure I know. Yeah, it's a 31-second video, so we're going to do that. And since it's a 31-second video, I'm going to add a timer. I'm going to say to this timer, go to next scene when done. We're going to put this at 0 and put this at 31 seconds. And you add that timer in there. We can put that timer underneath. And maybe since it's still visible, we can take that timer and actually turn its opacity down to 0 so no one can see it. We lock those things in place. And so now if I go into the other scene, go back to the intro scene, it will play the intro, but the timer is going to allow it to move to the next scene as soon as it's done. And you can even add music or other things here if you want. But this particular video does have music already added into it. And if you wanted to add some other dynamics, there's just, the sky's really the limit in terms of what you can do with this platform. And you can see, boom, it moved on to the next one without me having to do anything. So we've gone through doing a B-roll scene. We've done a graphics scene, which was what we're on right now. And a different type of graphic scene could be, let's go back to main here. This is the last one, I promise you, is a call out. I talked about this before. So call out scene, I'm going to put my camera on there. I'm going to add a rectangle. I want to make sure that that takes up the whole screen. I'm going to change this color to be mercury, or let's do white, and draw down that opacity a little bit. And we will give it a transition of where it comes in from flying from the top. And then on top of that, we can just add some text and say, live to drives. He saves time and effort. I'm just adding something random. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. Of course, I would want this to be a different color. So we're going to change that in just a second as well. But there we go. We're going to put that in. There we go. And get this color, text color to black. Save that. And then change this one to fly in from the right. So it is not doing the same thing as the other one. So now, once I get to that part of the video and I really want to be able to showcase or highlight that live to drive strategy is the one, I simply go to that next scene and boom, you have the rectangle coming down and you have these words that are on top, and then I can move to my next scene or whatever it is that I was wanting to do. These are, there's just so many ways that we are able to utilize this in the work that we are doing to create a scenario for live to drive. But I want you to understand that one of the key principles is prep. As a carpenter's son, I believe in measuring twice, but cutting once. And that principle is super helpful when employing this process. While this strategy can be used in other platforms, I particularly like to use a platform called Ecamm Live. And that's what I've been showing you this entire video. Ecamm, is literally the cheat code for everything that I've been showing today. All the functions and features, the different dynamics, the pull-ins, the pull-outs, the graphics on screen. You can do it with Ecamm, and I've got my link on screen. If you're interested in a trial, you can hit that link, or it'll be in the description as well. So you can definitely look into that one. Man, I will also say we've got a special offer, man. If you need some dedicated assistance to kind of fine tune and hone in this process, I would love to challenge you to take the no video editing required challenge. And so the QR code is on the screen right now. Link will definitely be in the first comment below. Go to kirkarnugent.live/no-edit and we'll show you 2 proven workflows that produce scroll stopping videos with no editing. Here's the last piece. Ecamm just released version 4.5, which includes dual mode, along with some other critical features. Click this video right here to see those features in action, and I will see you over there. Grace and peace, fam.